Welcome to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. Today, Episode 2, Why We Created the Wisconsin River Business Angels. Hello, my name is Aaron Marks, and I'm here with Jeff Evil and Leon Ostrowski, and they're the leaders of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and we're going to tell you a little bit, anyone who's listening, about how the Wisconsin River Business Angels came to be. So, Jeff, how are you today?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. How about you, Leon?
Coming along just great, thank you.
Good. So, Leon, this is not your first angel investing group. There was a previous one, right?
That is correct. And that was in about 2003 when we formed the first group. And it was interesting how it evolved. We had a project that we were trying to share with the communities of Wisconsin Rapids, Stevens Point, Marshfield. And we had big attendees at the meetings, but nobody was willing to invest. They all wanted to be participants as a service supplier to the company.
Right.
And then we changed the rules of the game and says, look, if you don't have $1 million of net worth, we really can't have you in the investment group. So we changed the rules of the game, put it to those. And I think the next meeting we had about 6 or 7 people. We made our first investment in the company, and we were off running for the next till 2008, 2009, when the economy slowed down. And we had made by that time about 10 to 12 investments. And that time it was saying, we don't know where the market is going, not unlike the turmoil that we're in right now. It wasn't as positive then. So we went in hold, and just as we keep some cash dry in case these companies need additional cash. Some of them had deep pockets. But one of the things I found out that first group is too many invested too much of their resources too early. They didn't take a portfolio approach in their investment to try to spend that money they wanted to invest in these type of investments, which should only be 10 to 15% of your portfolio, and then spread it over about 10 projects. So they had consumed their cash, and of course that's probably something we'd want to caution the new investors not to do. Spread it out.
Yeah.
But that group invested in those projects, and we had some big winners and we had some losers. And I think one of the things we found out is we can look at certain characteristics of those projects to prevent those losers from even coming into our portfolio of them, because some of those are criteria today we would not invest in because of they don't meet our criteria, and those are the ones that failed.
So, and that was the Central Wisconsin Business Angels. Is what
that is
called,
correct.
Right. Yeah. And so it sounds like you learned really important lessons from that group, both with regard to the due diligence that you do, and then also how you advise your investors.
That is correct. And it was interesting because we went back and evaluated that portfolio as best we can, even though a couple of projects are still running. And that was in that 22% compounded growth rate on that investment portfolio, assuming you went across all projects. Now, some that picked the wrong projects really had a very poor return. Others that were spread across the board did it very well.
Yeah. Okay. So even before learning those lessons, the return was much higher than investments typically are. So,
yes.
But yeah, go ahead.
That's just true across the nation. We were very typical of what the national statistics are.
Yeah, right. But those lessons, those lessons have been taken and applied to the current investment group, which is the Wisconsin River Business Angels. And this group involves Jeff. Jeff, one of the things that we talk about a lot is how the Wisconsin River Business Angels was created to meet needs of studies that were done through certain forums. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. If I unmute my mic. Yeah, actually, that's how I met Leon. I met him several occasions. He showed up at some of my workshops that I do on business, but I really got to know Leon through a series of forums that were sponsored by the Synergy Group, which is our regional economic development group. Peggy Sullivan was the director at the time, and I was working with her. We created these forums, or we scheduled some forums with many of the economic development specialists from central Wisconsin, some of the movers and shakers in the entrepreneurial circles. We met a series of times, about 5 meetings we had, and the purpose of the meetings were to identify gaps in the provider network for entrepreneurs and for startup companies. And through that process, we had identified 3 serious unmet needs in our community. The first was access to early stage capital. Second was access to executive level expertise, maybe retired executives, CEOs from larger companies that understood what it takes to scale a business. And then thirdly was a comprehensive list of all of the services that are available to help entrepreneurs and business owners start their businesses and grow their businesses. And one of the results of that was Leon and his partner at the time, which is John Leschke, actually launched the angel investing group here to provide for that early stage capital. I had worked with Peggy Sullivan for a while to try and develop the other 2 series, and then about 2015, Leon asked me to join the group as John left and went to do his business up in Minneapolis. So that's kind of how how the Angel Group was formed, why it was formed. It was actually an identified unmet need in our community.
Yeah, well, that's great, and I know the Wisconsin River Business Angels has adequately risen to meet all 3 of those needs. And one more note we wanted to talk about was that sometimes you may see another name associated with the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and just so people know what they're looking at, which is Midwest Wealth Ventures, right? Yeah, do you want to talk a little bit about that and how that relates?
Sure. Midwest Wealth Ventures actually is the legal entity that we formed. Mm-hmm. It's an LLC. Leon and I are the owners of the LLC, and together we manage the Wisconsin River Business Angels as a DBA, doing business as. So our legal entity is really the WRBA. Through the WRBA, we also can provide other services to businesses. It's going off.
Are the cookies done?
My eggs are done.
Yeah.
So we do provide other services through the umbrella of the Midwest Wealth Ventures. So we do business consulting. We'll mm-hmm. help businesses, create their business plan. We review business plans. We'll help them with their strategies, their growth strategy, maybe their go-to-market strategy. And then we also have some of our own projects that we work on that are besides the projects that we work on through the Angel Group. And one of them, we discovered at the Hatch competition here it was 3 or 4 years ago. The developer, the inventor, came up with a new valve for a toilet tank for flushing toilets, mm-hmm. and it was ingenious. It was so we were intrigued by that. The inventor did not want to have anything to do with starting and growing a business. He said, "I'm an inventor," and then we partnered with him. And what we're doing is we're acting as the interim management team and board of directors until we can build a business and actually hire professionals that are going to run it long term.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, just to be clear, the Wisconsin River Business Angels is the angel investment group, which is under Midwest Wealth Ventures. And Midwest Wealth Ventures is involved with all sorts of business development projects in central Wisconsin, especially, but throughout the state. So, all right. Well, I really appreciate you guys talking a little bit about the Wisconsin River Business Angels. And if people would like more information, I think we would all direct them to the website, which is www.midwestwealthventures.com. So any other final thoughts either of you would like to add, Leon or Jeff? Let's start with Leon.
I say we're really on a nice roll now. I think we've got a portfolio of companies that are working their way through our prioritization process to get them ready for investment. And we spend about, I'd say anywhere from 50 to 75 hours per project before we invest in them. So we made a very big commitment with no return other than the return that's going to come out as a successful venture that is sold to another entity. Then we'll get our compensation at the end of the project after all the investments is returned back to the initial investors.
Yeah. And Jeff, any final thoughts you want to add?
Sure. I've been working with entrepreneurs and startup companies for about 15 years now as a SCORE counselor. I've been giving workshops 6 times a year for people that are interested and want to know more about what it takes to start a business. And I'm thrilled actually to be involved at this level to help entrepreneurs in central Wisconsin start and build their own businesses. The other bigger communities, surrounding areas have those opportunities. That was missing here. That's an important part of the puzzle, to develop our culture of entrepreneurship here in central Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, great. We appreciate those final thoughts, and I think it should be clear to anyone who's listening that the two of you, Jeff and Leon, are passionate about investing. They're passionate about entrepreneurs, business development, and passionate about guiding investors to really vitalize their economies. So thanks so much for listening, everyone. My name is Aaron Marks, and I've been here with Jeff Ebel and Leon Ostrowski, who are the current leadership of the Wisconsin River Business Angels, and that's Central Wisconsin's only angel investment group. We'll see you on the next episode of Angel Impact. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Angel Impact, the official podcast of the Wisconsin River Business Angels. To learn more about the Wisconsin River Business Angels, visit the website at www.midwestwealthventures.com or find us on Facebook.